Hello, this is Gabriel. Welcome back to the 5 steps to a successful Moti journey. We will now in this clip discuss step 2, running your Moti survey. So you might remember what the 5 steps to a successful Moti journey are, but this is a reminder. First, you design your Moti journey, and that is the subject of a very long series of videos because designing requires a bunch of steps. Step 2 is actually running the survey, and after that you analyze the data, you discuss the results, and you commit to a plan of action. And just as a second reminder, all this is about learning. In the design phase, you learned about your journey's purpose and objectives. You had to reflect on that, and that was a learning opportunity. You might have considered policy needing review, and you, by now, I hope, have a fairly good understanding of self-determination theory. If that's not the case, there are plenty of tutorials and videos and resources online, both produced by the Moti team and by others, not least Professors Ryan and Desi. So, the first step, or the first mini step in step 2, is to inform the people who will actually answer the survey. And these are the team members and other stakeholders. So let's stick to the team members. The stakeholders you will probably have already contacted and discussed the objectives, purpose of your Moti journey. So, and you know this, communication is essential, and it's even more essential in surveys because you need a respectable response rate, especially when you're dealing with small teams of 5, 6, 7 people. And so there, every response counts. If you have 2 people who don't answer the survey and these 2 people are particularly disgruntled, then that will affect the results. The results will actually be biased in a positive light. You want also people to answer truthfully. You don't want them to be nice or to lie. You just want them to be honest. And I think we have all become a little cynical about surveys, especially when they are launched by employers. So we need to take that into account in our communication. So commit to act upon the survey results. And that's what really makes your survey, your Moti survey, different from usual surveys. This is not anonymous surveys that will go in some kind of report that will be shelved. The results of this survey will be used to the benefit of the respondents. Another obstacle might be that people don't trust data confidentiality. Well, and that's a legitimate concern, honestly. So explain the confidentiality of the data, show the Moti data privacy policy, and answer questions to the best of your ability. If not, you can refer people to us. Now, the best approach is to co-design your Moti journey with the people who will be taking it with you. Meet and discuss the Moti journey design with the teams. For that, you probably want to have already a pretty good idea of the purpose and of your objectives. But if you discuss these with the team members, you might get their perspective, and that would enrich the objectives, and it will make it more worthwhile for everybody. Now, not everything needs to be included, because then it gets too confusing. But if you see that there are legitimate concerns and or interests, and then take into account these inputs and adapt the journey. So the bottom line is that the Moti journey, the Moti survey, is not just a survey. It's a team learning exercise, an opportunity for growth and for organizational change. Remind yourself this, remind the others, this is not just a survey. We have developed a number of standard messages, so check them out. You will find the link in the Moti Journey Guidebook and in the Moti Service Portal. We've also made videos on how to create teams using the app. So here I am assuming that you've already, in the design phase, figured out who belongs to which team and which team belongs to which circle. This video that you can watch at your leisure describes how you actually do it in the app. Dispatching the survey invitation. This also happens in the app. So for this, we have a tutorial video on how to use the Moti app to manage your survey. So that includes sending the invites. These are messages that are automatic, that are sent to people's inboxes with a link that they click on to access the Moti survey questionnaire. In the app, you will also see that you can actually manage all the aspects of the survey, including monitoring the response rate. And you will need that in step 5. Now, sometimes there can be issues. The Moti app has been functioning now for a couple of years, and so most of the bugs have been addressed, but there might be some troubleshooting. So here are some questions that you may have or will get. So sometimes some people did not receive the invite. This happens very rarely, but what you need to do is to tell those that have not received an invite to check their spam or their junk folders. You might also want to remind them the precise date and time when you sent them the invite, so that, you know, for the very busy people who get 500 emails a day, they can you know, double check in their inbox. Some people, you do get the invite, but for some reason they click on the link and they cannot access the questionnaire. Well, it might be because they're using a very outdated browser or Internet Explorer. As you might know that Internet Explorer has been decommissioned. But Moti works on, you know, the most frequently used browsers: Chrome, Brave, Firefox, and Edge. So in that case, you know, tell them to paste the survey link that they found an invite on one of these browsers, or they can just use another device like their phones. It's very easy to answer the Moti survey on the phone. So you might have dispatched a survey to everyone, but now you're stuck because you have a response rate of, say, 50%, and you do not know to whom you should send a reminder. Well, you know, there's a reason to that. This is by design. We don't want you to know who responded to the survey and who didn't. This is just to demonstrate that the responses are 100% confidential, and including the fact that you've responded or not, that is confidential. If people want to not respond, but they don't want to be singled out as not being team players, well, then it's their right. You will not know who has responded and who has not responded, unless if you get a 100% response rate, which does happen. So that's obviously the ideal scenario. So you will just have to send a reminder to everybody, and you apologize for the spam to those that have already answered the survey, but you will reassure them that, you know, you don't know if they have or not, which just proves my point. This is confidential. Now, some of the team members cannot access the dashboard, so they're a little frustrated, which is a good sign. Well, have they registered? So to see your dashboard, you need to register after having responded to the survey. So when you respond to the survey, you submit your answers, and then you are invited to register. Encourage people to register immediately after they have responded to the survey. That way they don't forget. It's just a click. They just give their email address, the same to which you sent the email invites. They create a password, they confirm the password, and boom, done. And if enough people answered the survey already, they can immediately look at the survey results. Now, to protect the confidentiality, results are only visible after 5 members of a team responded to the survey. This is for 2 reasons. One, you don't want to jump to any conclusion when you have a team of 20 people and only 1 person respond to the survey. Obviously, the results will change as more people respond to the survey. So survey responses tend to be very unstable, when with the first respondents submitting their replies. But as the number grows, then it stabilizes, and you can start already looking at the dashboard. Okay, the next step is you want to increase your response rate. Now, this is actually fun, because the response rates we get for Moti surveys usually exceed 65%, which is incredibly high compared to most surveys. Most staff surveys, are below 50% in the best of cases, and the surveys are thrown out to the general public, rarely exceed 20%. And very often we get survey response rates of over 80%, and we've seen 100%. And that should be your target. And why do we get such high response rates? Well, one of the reasons is that a Moti survey is part of a larger team building or leadership development process. It's part of improving our job satisfaction, of changing our organization. So the respondents have a stake in the survey. They have a personal stake in the conversation that will follow the survey. But it doesn't hurt to remind respondents why it's important for them to respond to the survey. Now, when you send reminders, send them by email or SMS, not through the app. And this is because Moti generates a new link to the survey questionnaire each time it sends an invite. So avoid, resending invitations through the Moti app. If you do, then people who get too many links from the Moti app will just end up clicking on outdated links and get frustrated, and that's not good. So, since you do not know who has answered and who has not answered, you will need to send the reminders to the whole team. It's more motivating to remind people there will be a workshop to discuss the results, and so those that did not respond to the survey, let them understand that they might be frustrated, they might miss out during the conversations because they will not have reflected upon the survey questions and upon their meaning. So if despite your efforts, if only a few people answer the survey, so if you get a response rate of, say, 30% after 6 reminders, then you'll have to ask yourself, why this has happened. This is not something that's very usual. So ask yourself, is there a trust issue that needs to be addressed? And actually, you can address that trust issue with Moti. So hang in there, keep on sending these reminders, and investigate among your teams, why is it that people are not responding? It is a legitimate question. Again, you can adapt our standard reminders to your needs, and just check out the Moti Journey guidebook or the Moti source portal to get the links. Finally, last but not least, in this step 2 of running a Moti survey, remind your team to register to the Moti website to see the survey results. Seeing the results on the Moti app is an incentive to respond to the survey. And, add this point in your reminder messages. Respondents who have already answered the survey will be reminded to register and have a look at the results. Now, once you have reached your target response rates, invite the team members to reflect on the survey results. And for this, we developed a 5-step reflection guide for team members, where they can sort of look at their personal results that they will see in their dashboard once they've registered and logged in to the survey. And then we will guide them, they will be guided into asking themselves a few questions. And by reflecting on these results, they will be better prepared for the team discussion. They will not be taken by surprise. And so you have a number of steps. How do I feel about my work? How do I compare with the rest of the team? Why do I feel this way? How is my motivation affected by my supervisor? How is my motivation affected by external factors? What can I do to improve my satisfaction at work? And this is important, this last step, because we want people to take responsibility. It is not always the leader's fault if people are unhappy. It is also a question of behavior and attitude. So this reflection process is a means to get people to reflect on their personal responsibility in regards to their motivation, their well-being, their personal responsibility towards the other members of the team, and their responsibility towards the organization. It's a two-way street. We need to be responsible for each other, and we cannot expect everything from our supervisor. So, you can use the self-reflection guide for team supervisors if you are a team leader or a manager. And here you will be asked about your assumptions, your implicit assumptions about your team members and how you can better connect with them, for example. So check this out. Again, all this is in the Moti Journey guidebook, which is online, or the Moti service portal, also online. So that concludes step 2 of the 5 steps to a successful Moti journey, and the next video will be on step 3, analyzing the survey results. See you then.